2025 is shaping up to be a huge year for artificial intelligence. There are basically three massive stories unfolding all at once. And trust me, how they play out is going to define the world we're all living in tomorrow. So, let's break it all down.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to peek inside the engine room and ask a really fundamental question. Is AI's progress actually speeding up? Then we'll look at how all that power is changing the internet itself. After that, we'll zoom way out to look at the global competition, basically the US versus China. And finally, we're going to bring it all back and figure out what it means for you.
So, let's dive right in with the biggest question of all. And this is a big one. It's a debate that's literally splitting the people who are building this stuff right down the middle. Is AI development just a steady, predictable march forward, or is it starting to accelerate in ways that nobody really saw coming? And look, this isn't just some nerdy debate for researchers. How you answer this question completely changes how we should be preparing for the future. And right now, the experts are totally divided. So in one corner, you've got the people who believe things are accelerating. They see AI making these huge, unexpected leaps in what it can do. But in the other corner, you have a group saying, whoa, hold on. They argue the growth is actually on a pretty stable, predictable curve. They think these leaps are just what happens when you pour billions of dollars and clever engineering into a problem. It's not some kind of magic fundamental shift. All right, so the folks who think things are speeding up, they've got some pretty strong evidence. They point out that these models are developing reasoning and planning skills way ahead of schedule. We're also seeing these new training methods that get incredible results out of smaller, more efficient models, which honestly nobody expected. And this is the big one, they're becoming more agentic. That means they can set their own goals and then figure out the steps to get there. But, of course, there's another side to the story. The predictable growth camp has a powerful comeback. They're basically saying, hold on, these big jumps you think you're seeing, they're kind of an illusion. They argue it's not about the AI's core ability changing, it's just that we're getting way better at fine-tuning them, feeding them super high-quality data, and, frankly, testing them on benchmarks that they're just too smart for now. Okay, but here's the thing that kind of cuts through all that back and forth. This quote from a recent safety review gets to the heart of it. In the end, it might not matter how fast we get there. The moment an AI can truly plan for the long term, it becomes a totally different beast. It's a whole new ballgame, with risks we're just starting to wrap our heads around. So that debate is all about the engine. But that engine isn't just sitting in a lab somewhere. It's getting dropped into the car we all drive every single day, the internet. And it is completely changing the rules of the road. And the key piece of tech here is something people are calling an AI browser. So what is this thing? Well, think of it less like a window to a website and more like your own personal researcher. It doesn't just show you a web page, it reads it, understands it, and gives you the summary, acting on your behalf. It's a completely new way to use the internet. I mean, for 30 years, right? The whole game was simple. You built a website, and you designed it to look good for a person, for human eyes. That's it. Yeah, well, that era is officially over, because all of a sudden there's a second visitor to every website, an AI agent. And this new visitor, the AI, it couldn't care less about your cool font or flashy graphics. It wants something totally different. And this is where the conflict really shows up. You, the human, are there for an experience. You interact, you look at pictures. The value to the website is how long you stick around. But the AI agent, its goal is pure efficiency. It wants to get in, grab the raw data, and get out. It just blows past the ads, ignores the beautiful layout, and goes straight for the text. So this all leads to a really mind-bending question for the future of the internet. When you're trying to serve two completely different audiences with opposite goals, does the web itself start to break apart? Are we actually creating two separate internets running in parallel? You know, a visual, flashy one for us humans, and a stripped-down, data-only version just for the machines? Now, this massive shift, this remaking of our digital world, it's not happening in some kind of bubble. The race to control this new version of the web and the AI that runs it, that's become the main event in a massive global tech rivalry. And there's this brilliant way to think about it from AI pioneer Kai-Fu Lee. He compares it to the old smartphone wars. He says, look, the US is basically building the iOS of AI. It's a closed system, it's very polished, and it's tightly controlled by just a handful of giant companies. China, on the other hand, is taking the Android approach. It's more open, it's way more customizable, and it's being driven by a huge, sprawling community.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures the vibe of China's approach. It's less about these walled-off secret projects and more like a whole bunch of students in a library, all sharing notes and helping each other cram to ace a huge exam.
So what does studying together actually look like? Well, this whole Android approach is built on open models that anyone can just download and start tinkering with. And that leads to way faster experimentation. It gets tons of everyday people involved, and what you get is this wild, diverse, and kind of chaotic ecosystem of AI tools. Okay, so let's recap. We've got this tech that's maybe accelerating out of control, it's totally reshaping the internet as we know it, and it's at the center of a new global power struggle. So, what in the world does any of this have to do with you?
So here we are. We've got a core technology that's moving at a pace that's hard to comprehend. We have the internet, our main window to the world, being rebuilt for machines as much as for people. And we have the two biggest superpowers on Earth competing to write the rules for what comes next. All of this is happening right now. The only real question left is, what's your role going to be in all this? Are you a builder? A user? A critic? The future's being written as we speak, and your part in it is still very much up to you.